I got knocked out in round one, and
Actually, I haven't looked yet.
Lo and behold, I'll bring it up here, just kind of show everyone here in the pop-up draft. The Tesuiji one full, the Don't Get Salty one with me is full. When Mullets Were Cool have 192 out of 256. So yeah, it's filling up pretty quickly here, folks. I know a lot of you are without slots right now because you've entered tournaments, weeklies or dailies over the last couple days, and they're full and you can't exit them. So you're probably waiting until one is done before you can pop in there. But yeah, it'll be full by tonight. So let's take a look at the laptop daily today. You said you had a good team. I thought I had a good team. I thought I had a top 16 team, but I came up against Charles in round one. Yeah, I came up against Warbot, and he beat me 4-1. He had Arky Vaughn in his lineup. He is the MVP, hitting 470. 472. Yeah, that Arky Vaughn card is good. So we're into round two now. And congratulations to the team on the screen right here, the Detroiters. Yesterday, if you saw the stream, the Detroiters played the Firebirds in the final, and Sporer won his first 5L tournament over D. Dempsey's Firebirds there. And it was what an exciting final game. And Dr. D had started with this OOTP stream. It's like, okay, timing's good. I'll get over there right at the start. And then it's tied after 9. And after 10. It's tied after 11. It's tied after 11, 12, 13. And then it goes finally to the 14th inning where Sporer pulls it off in a dramatic win. So, yeah, it's great to stream these finals. It's great to see, different teams in the finals. It's not always the same one or two teams. It's very competitive. And who are you facing? The dugouts are facing Passamaquoddy. No easy manager here.
No, I'm down 3-1. So yeah.
And Cavacom beat his Cava honoring bet bronze team 4-0. So
after he beat the Dachshunds in round one.
Oh, Cava beat the Dachshunds?
Yeah.
Oh wow, Cava's beat Sporer. He's beat you now. And Cava, says basically if he doesn't have a good team, he doesn't set sliders. So he probably
yeah, exactly.
He said, I'm not even going to bother if I don't have a good team. It's like all or nothing. Like, give me the full meal deal, or I'm just going to, play it out. And then your Weasel Sports News going up against Minerva. So you're facing a lot of, familiar community members in here. And yeah, we're into which is the team you thought that you did pretty well with? This one?
The Wichita Eagles.
Oh, the Wichita Eagles. So the Wichita Eagles against another team that I'm starting to see a lot more, this Wonderbolts team. So they're playing pretty well. You got Doc Kennedy, you got Kid Lowe. Yeah, Doc, for some reason I said on Cava's stream that he's one of the top 4 catchers in this tournament. It's kind of weird. And he's hitting 455 for you in this round. So yeah,
2 home runs.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the speed with the catcher that helps him, but yeah, he's one of those cards that I'm like, really? This card is one of the top 4 catchers? And then you got Arky, you got Rob Deere, Biggio, oh yeah, Goodrum, Rosenthal. What? Did you pay OOTP to give you good cards or what? And then you got, kind of a Cavacom card there in Dave Kingman. But he said Kingman's not one of his go-to guys.
He had only 2 at-bats, so, he's just
a only 2 at-bats. We got the Foo Fighters in here. Is this the Rich Grisham?
Rich, yeah.
Is that Rich? Yeah. Rich is in the 5L. Well, Rich, if you're listening, good luck. You're into round 2, but you're going up against Fussmucker, and Fussmucker takes no mercy. He beat me yesterday in the Bounty, and he just Fuss is just like, I got to win. I got to beat lap every chance I get. So good to see the Foo Fighters, the Dodgers, the Devils. It's like a family here now, because I would say 80% of the teams that enter every day are pretty much the same teams, right?
Yeah, definitely. You got the Hoosman in there. You got who was that? Mortal Margot in there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Usually music lessons, the Nasty Boys with Beetle Boy is always in there. The Mill Basin Yankees I see a lot. Of course, Kava, GT Sundown is in there quite a bit. So yeah, it's fun. And again, tracking all the top 4 finishers to give away a 20-pack prize at the end of February. So good luck,
Ezra. Ezra is putting himself down. He's there for the first round usually. Usually you're doing pretty well. You very often in round 3 or the quarterfinals or something like that. Ezra, you had a bad stretch now, but yeah, you'll be back.
Ezra's, he's often in the top 8, top 16. And again, you just have that bad stretch. I've had a lot of bad stretches, but yet I've won the tournament twice and finished in the top 4, I think 4 times now overall. So yeah, you do have those bad stretches. Cubs fan Steve, of course, Wildcat Bandit. Yeah, a lot of competition here. So good luck. Again, fires off every morning. So you want to get entered. It usually kind of fills up by about 10 p.m. Eastern. I don't know with the pop-ups now. It might take a little longer because people are filling up their slots with the pop-ups. But yeah, good luck. We got 18 out of 64 ready for tomorrow. So it is a little slower because of those pop-up tournaments.
And there will be no more PT Plus.
No more PT Plus? Oh, is I did not hear the news.
No,
educate me.
They had it on the Discord, Dishnet, and it here in preparation for PT25. We will no longer be selling new subscriptions for PT Plus.
Oh, so I guess the last reward comes out this month. Then I guess.
What he says. We still plan on releasing one more PT Plus gift for PT24 tomorrow, as well as a PT Plus gift for March for those that have PT Plus through March 13th.
Okay. So this month, and then if your subscription goes beyond into March, then you'll get March's as well.
Yeah, but you cannot buy any new ones now.
All right. Good. Well, we're going to talk about the PTCS and both of our experiences. I talked about mine yesterday. Well, we'll kind of get your reaction to that too. And then we're going to go into all the new lower level cards. We're not going to look at the gold and the diamond and the silver. We're just going to focus on the iron and bronze because that's kind of our specialty, or what we like to think is our specialty at least. So we're going to talk about those, but let's take our break now so that we're not going to get interrupted in 5 minutes. We'll be back in 2 minutes time with D-Block to talk PTCS results and all the newer level cards. Stick around, guys. Back in a couple minutes time. All right, welcome back. Guys should be getting your drops and getting those packs and pouring over all the new content that's come out over the last 72 hours. Saturday night, there was some cards that were released, and of course today with the Tuesday Treasure Trove. So welcome in, everyone. Again, hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. I'm here with Don't Cut the D-Block Dragon, and one of D-Block Dragon's unique parts of his stream over the last couple of months, 2 or 3 months, has been streaming the PTCS when it runs. I think he's done that now for 3 or 4, starting with maybe 8, 9, and 10. D-Block, how fun is it? And tell us a little bit about how your PTCS 10 experience was.
Well, it is a lot of fun. I mean, drafting that. I mean, the first time I ever did it, of course, that was the one that I went to the final. That you can't beat that much. So, of course, the final. Then I watched Dishes, the stream on the mothership, but you can't beat that really. The next two were not that successful. This one was better, not from the results here, but I just felt better. I lost to teams where, for example, in Iron, I lost to the eventual winner, the Riverbeds from Jim Bodan, and I lost in 7, and that game 7 was in the 11th inning. So I know that I had a competitive team there, and yeah, it's just unfortunate that we met in round 3. Yeah, it would have been very likely if we would have met later on, that would have been a good semifinal or quarterfinal or something like that. That would have been okay. And in bronze, that was just a lot of fun. First round was Chess Safari. That was a good round. Basically, I only played players from the managers from the community, and yeah, it was just fun.
Yeah, it
Even though
is
I got
fun.
only to round 4, but still.
Yeah, it's always fun. It drives the competitive juices. It can be frustrating, of course, and sometimes you think you have all the right pieces and you're micromanaging and things still don't go right. And for
Exactly.
me, it's always a learning experience, and I'm going to take a lot of what I learned through this year's process into next year, because 2 years ago I wasn't really into these big final tournaments. I started getting into it more this year, about halfway through, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And I think I've been educated a little bit on what I can do a little bit better right out of the gate in OOTP 25, but had some
And
success.
you beat me, and you swept me in one round. But the thing really is, the first 2 games were in overtime. There was one 14 inning and one 12 inning game.
Yeah.
And game 3, you won. I was up 4-1, and you just, one of those OOTP late inning things that you actually won at 5-4.
Yeah.
When I was up 4-1 there
Yeah.
in the last inning, and yeah, you were up 3-0. Game 4 was an easy victory for you, but still, I mean, it could have been easily been 3-0 for me at that point. And it
sure.
still was a sweep, and so that was a little bit annoying. But of course, on the other hand, I have no problem losing to a good team, and I always where I do get a little salty is if I lose against a team that I think is way worse than mine. Just the RNG does it. It just basically the RNG beats me. But I haven't had this in this PTCS. I always lost to to very, very good teams and very, very good managers. So I can be happy with that.
Yeah. No, our series, yeah, you're right. It could have been 3-0 easily for you. 2 extra innings, and then I think I hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th or something like that to tie it. And it was just.
Then I walked in. I walked in your final run. Yeah.
The final run. Yeah. It's just a matter of the roll of the dice sometimes. And again, it's not always the best run team that wins.
No.
Sometimes it's just what OOTP decides, and you got to go
Yeah.
with it. And I think once you accept that, it's not your fault as a manager. I
Yeah.
mean, if you put the right pieces there and you have a decent strategy and you micromanage, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, and especially in those lower levels that we like in iron and bronze, there is just so much RNG in there involved, much more than in the higher levels, and you just have to accept it. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's especially if, like I said, especially if you see that the other manager has put together a good team. Maybe it's not a team that I would put together, like with, for example, the Kavacom teams. I wouldn't put them together, but the way that he does, but he has a plan behind that, and that is his way of playing. And you see that there's thought behind that, and if you see that, then yeah, sometimes you
Yeah.
lose and sometimes you win.
And what's, gratifying as a streamer and you as a streamer as well is when members of the community get involved in a lot of the same tournaments we're involved in, and
Yeah.
they start to have success, whether it's, again, music lessons, Minerva's girlfriend, whoever it might be. And then, you can't see them, but there's a big smile on their face when they beat us, kind of like when I beat Charles or when I beat Izadafo, or, there is kind of a hierarchy of the learning process, and people that are just starting, if they beat us, big smile. If we beat someone we consider a little higher, we smile. And then it's kind of fun, watching the evolution of these newer players come in and have success, even at our expense.
I have no problem with that. I mean,
Yeah.
music lessons beat me quite a lot over the last weeks. So,
Yeah.
and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Happy to see it that somebody is having so much success so quickly, for example.
Yeah. And at the top of the pecking order, you do have these teams that we see as the champions here. You got people like the Baycats, you got the Snowballers, you got the Fighting Amish, you got the Sky Sluggers, the Jim Bowden and his River Bats. I mean, and Snails, of course, with Perfect Drafts, who is, probably the best perfect draft player out there, because he continues to have success and crushes competition. It wasn't close in the daily and the weekly. So, yeah, it's fun to try and reach that next level. And I think in OOTP 25, I think we're probably going to see even more focus on tournaments. I'm starting to see, league play in OOTP 19 all the way to 23 was kind of dominant. And in 23, we started to see tournaments gain more recognition and popularity. And in 24, I think the tournaments have passed the league play now. And I think that's going to even widen the gap next year. I don't know. Do you think, you've only been part of this 1 year. Do you prefer the league or do you prefer the tournaments, or do you have a favorite?
I actually do like both. But I mean, the thing really with tournaments is that with being able to play so many tournaments, basically with the dailies and the weeklies, and you see so many more teams than you do in league play. In league play, you play 1 week, you play the same other 29 teams. That's it. And by playing dailies, and if you actually look at the results and look who's playing and see that there are always recurring teams, and you basically then that this is that team from that guy from the community, and this is that other team from that other guy from the community, and you just know you don't know them by face, most of them, but you know them from the way they write things in the chat, and so it's much more fun to play. It's much more fun to play in the tournaments because there's just more interaction within the community.
Yeah. I find, it used to be all my main rivals were league play kind of rivals, and that's completely changed this year. Most of my rivals are tournament rivals.
Yeah.
I never come across you in league play, but I come across you tons of times in tournaments. I think the only manager where I see both is D Dempsey. I come across him a lot in league and a lot in tournaments. But other than that, it's like two separate groups of rivals. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the fine details. And speaking of D Dempsey, I want to thank him for putting together some statistics for us for the PTCS for the iron and bronze. We're only going to look at the iron and bronze because again, that's kind of
that's
our jam. Let's start with iron, and let's start with pitchers. Who do you think was of the 128 teams in the PTCS? Which pitcher do you think was taken by the most teams?
The means.
You nailed it. John Means, 7.2% of all the cards was a John Means card. Jeff Francis, 6.2, Sabathia, 6.9. So we kind of had our top 10 pitchers here on the right. And then everyone else in terms of pitchers, just over 50%. So about a 50-50 split between 10 pitchers compared to the rest of the card pool. Any names on here, surprise you for the top 10?
I'm surprised that Sobrano is that high. Yeah, I thought he was a kind of like a controversial card. With that low control, I thought he would be lower. Same with the Sabathia, that is that high with the second most used card. I thought that's a little bit surprising for me. But the Chien Meng Wang, also a very controversial card.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers over 5%. And then we got a little bit of a drop off. We don't see the Pettit card on here. I know the Pettit was a very controversial card too. It's the card that actually beat me, that D Dempsey used in the pivotal game against me in Game 7 to beat me in iron, which is like, oh, that card with that low stuff beat me. 4 solid innings. Let's go on and look at games started. Again, we're going to see a lot of the similar names. John Means started 12.6% of all the games in iron. So this is all the teams, 128 teams, all games started. John Means started 12.6%. Blowing away. I mean, second place was Jeff Francis and then Sabathia. In fact, the top 10 selected pitchers were 57% of all the games started. Again, no surprises, a lot of the same names. Innings pitched, we see the same thing. John Means, 10.6% of all innings pitched in this tournament was from a John Means card. And then all those similar names, Brandon Webb on there. And finally, strikeouts. Do you think it's John Means? Do you think he had the most strikeouts of any pitcher?
With having so much more innings, probably yes.
Yeah, he swept it. John Means, 10.6% of all players that struck out in this iron tournament were struck out by John Means. So
I think if CC would have had more innings, I think he would have taken it. But with John Means having so much more innings, it must have been him.
Right. Post of the day so far. John Means business.
Yes, definitely.
Not every team had John Means. I think it was 109 or something, 109. But then there's teams that don't draft. There's teams that, just put in their regular roster. So not all 128 teams probably took this seriously or, even bothered to check. But yeah, he was on a majority of the rosters.
Beforehand, he was clearly the best pitcher you could choose.
Yeah. Okay, so pitchers were pretty straightforward. You had your group of, 5 or 6 and then, a bunch of random others. How about hitters in iron? Who do you think was the card taken by the most managers?
Adalberto?
Okay.
Mondesi?
It was.
Mathis.
It was close, but it was
okay.
Jeff Mathis. Yeah, Jeff Mathis, still popular. 5.6% of all the cards were Jeff Mathis. And then Mondesi was number 2. So he was only 0.3 off. So Pretty much those were the top two. Hairston Jr., that makes sense. Almora
Definitely.
Jr., Reggie Willits, Halter. No one really on this top 10 surprises me, does it? Or does it surprise you?
No, not at all. And the thing is, really, with the I had only like 4 of the top 10 on my team of the pitchers. I had every one of those players on my team.
Oh, really? Of all the pitchers? Oh, I think hitter wise, I don't know if I had Almora Jr., but I think I had everyone else on there for hitters. Dogberry says I have an irrational love of that Willits card. Well, yeah, I don't think it's irrational. I think
No, it's not. It's a
it's
very, very, very good card.
yeah. If you look at that card, it's splitty. Of course, you don't want to play him against the opposite side, but if you're platooning, which you should have been doing in this tournament. Okay, let's take a look at the total WAR. So if you add up all the WAR of all the players in the PTCS, which card had the best percentage of that total WAR? Probably not Mathis because his bat
No,
wasn't that great.
Mathis, definitely not. Um, I would say, let's say Jake Lamb. It was all
Blowing,
okay.
blowing it away,
Okay,
11.7%. And it does make sense in the 5L. I see this card doing really well. He did well, I think, for Spora yesterday. I think he might even, come up with the winning hit. Or he every time I watch him on highlights, he seems to have clutch hits. 11.7% of all the entire tournament WAR for hitters was from Adalberto Montezi. Lamb was second, so very good. Nailing Lamb there. Matt Olson was third. Bautista was up there.
That is a little bit surprising.
Yeah. And then top 10 accounted for 60% of the overall WAR in the tournament. That's amazing. 10 cards accounted for 60% of the WAR. Next up.
Interesting here also that the Brendan Bain catcher card, even though that there was chosen way less, has more WAR than Mathis.
Yeah. Maine is even on here. Yeah. 4.7%. Jeff Mathis was 5.6. So almost a full percentage less in terms of chosen cards. And yet he's above him in WAR. What do you think for home runs? Who do you think had the most dingers for iron?
Matt Olson.
Yeah. Ewan Sporer. And again, it wasn't even close. 12.2% of all the home runs in iron were hit by a Matt Olson card. Again, 60% from the top 10 and then 42%. So Beckham up there. Dunn doesn't surprise me. Bautista doesn't surprise me. Jake Lamb doesn't.
Ramirez surprises me that he has not that he hits the home runs, but that he was used so often that he could amass that many home runs.
Yeah, and Mike Jacobs shouldn't surprise you because he wasn't one of the top 10 selected cards, but he did break into the top 10 for most home runs. So those people that did draft
he's awesome.
him.
Yeah. If you use it, he gives you a lot, but the Ramirez card, that is a surprise for me.
Yeah.
Nice to
next
see that
up,
Ryan Schimpf is there too.
Ryan Schimpf.
I used him too. I used him actually at third base instead of. I don't forget. Yeah, I used him at third base.
RBIs, no surprise either. It is Matt Olson. When you hit the most home runs, you're probably going to have the most RBIs or close to it. Jake Lamb second, Mondesi. Again, the same cards that we kind of saw with the home run cards. Jeff Mathis, even up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He was like number 10 for total RBIs in the tournament. So that one to me is the biggest surprise that Jeff Mathis would be there. But I guess it's more the volume of the card. He's going to accumulate RBIs. Yeah. Okay, let's look at bronze. One of our favorite levels of play is bronze. Pitcher-wise, which pitcher was selected by the most managers in bronze? Chat, what do you think?
And bronze?
In bronze.
Cliff
Bronze
Lee, yeah.
PTCS.
Cliff Lee.
There's a lot of good ones to choose from.
Yeah, I
Remember,
know,
not a
but
lot.
we've seen that in the 5L. That it is Cliff Lee that people choose the most. I think
But
it's still here, Cliff Lee. Yeah.
but D Block, don't you think? Don't you think a lot of people hate Cliff Lee and refuse to use him?
I don't know. I don't. I usually put him in the bullpen, but yeah, it's going to be Cliff Lee.
102 out of 128 managers had a Cliff Lee on their team. So yeah, you're right. Only 26 managers did not run a Cliff Lee. Castillo was second, and then a big drop off. So Castillo, Lee were kind of the go-to starters or pitchers, I guess, because some of these are relievers. Anyone here surprise you for a top 10 selected pitcher, either bullpen or a starter?
Yeah, the Kluber a little bit. That so many used him because he is actually somebody who has quite a low PBAB. Okay, of course, the Cliff Lee has a low PBAB, but normally people look for PBAB, and Kluber does not have that. And I always felt like I was one of the very few people who used him in like especially in autumn and the fall season there. I used him quite a lot, and I did not see him on a lot of teams. So that is a little surprising for me that he's here.
Yeah.
Also, very interesting that we do have those three designated relievers there with Burton, Timlin, and King that everybody's thought we need to get those guys in there. Even though they are really only relievers, and so we cannot do anything else with them. But I mean, of course, they are so good that they are there. I kind of would have expected that maybe that the fourth one was there with Hasegawa, that he would be there too. But yeah, this Kluber is a little bit surprising for me.
Considering a lot of teams only ran 10 pitchers, and these
Yeah.
are the top 10, I think I had everyone except Braden. I think I had Hasegawa instead of Braden. So this is pretty close to what I was running as my bronze team. And yeah, Dogberry, this is the PTCS bronze. These stats were accumulated by D Dempsey, and D Dempsey crunched all the numbers, did the graphs, and yeah, gave these to me to kind of show off. So again, big shout out to D Dempsey.
Oh, okay. Hasegawa is a special edition. I thought he was a rookie sensation.
Oh, okay. So I didn't have him, but I know I didn't
No.
have Braden. I can't remember who my 10th guy would have been. Maybe we'll see
I
him
thought
later.
he was a rookie sensation.
Next up, game started. So remember, some of these, pitchers that we look as starters, people prefer to use them in the pen. Who do you think had the most games started in bronze?
I saw it already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo, 261 starts. Cliff Lee, 249. And then a big drop off to Van Gilder, and then another big drop off to Kluber. So Lemongello, Kluber, Van Gilder, Lee, Castillo, kind of your top 5 starting pitchers. Ventura surprises me a little bit as a top starter. Hacker does not. I know there was a lot of talk about Hacker, but some people just refuse to put iron cards on a bronze roster, which kind of baffles me. Parker maybe surprises me a bit. So when we look at
me. I mean, we talked about it. When did we talk about it? On the round? I'm not sure if we talked about it on my stream or on the roundtable about the Parker card. I'm not sure about that. But that surprised me too a little bit because he was so splitty. And my reasoning was, if you're playing to win the PTCS, and if you're playing the Parker, you basically know that from the quarterfinal on, you playing against coaches or managers that micromanage, and if they see the Parker there, you bet they will load the lineup with lefties, and that's why I did not pick. I like the Parker card a lot, but. In the PTCS, that would be much more. I would rather play the Hacker than the Parker card.
Yeah, I think Hacker was my number 2 guy. I think I had Castillo, Hacker, and then I had Lemongello. I think as my top three. I had Cliff Lee in the bullpen, and that's why Cliff Lee, doesn't have the most starts. That's why his numbers are lower, because people did use him in the bullpen. And again, chat, this by no means the most successful cards. This does not mean that people that had him, went all the way to the final. This is simply statistics of the most used. We're just showing you the numbers of the cards here. Success rate, don't have those numbers. Next up, innings pitched. Well, again, that's going to go to those top two guys, whether they're a bullpen or a starter, Cliff Lee and Louis Castillo. Van Gilder, Kluber, same guys. Hacker down a little bit, I guess. Only 23 Hacker cards, though. Kind of surprises me. Out of 128 teams, only 23 ran Hacker.
I think all teams that I played against had it.
Yeah, that is interesting.
What is surprising here is that we have the Lemon Jello with 52 cards, but Kluber has more innings with, was that 13 cards less? And it's more like the Van Gilder is basically the same number of cards, but he has like 300 innings more. So that is basically what I saw on my team, that the Lemon Jello was terrible in this tournament. I gave up so many home runs with him, and I tried to micromanage him out of it, but too late.
And as Chat's pointing out, Lee has more stamina, so the stamina of the pitcher is going to reflect total innings pitched as well. Yeah. Again, bullpen usage. But yeah, that Warren Hacker, I would never have guessed only 23. I would have guessed maybe half of the teams had him, but that's kind of surprising.
And also the two pitchers that really disappointed on my team were Porter Carrero and Lavangello. And if you go back there, the Hacker has the same innings pitched, even though there were 16 less Hackers than the Porter Carrero. And that is exactly what I saw on my team. Lavangello, Porter Carrero really sank me.
Yeah. So here's the visual again of those pitchers. Cliff Lee was 16.5% of all innings pitched was by a Cliff Lee card, Castillo, and then everyone else under 10%. So these top 10 pitchers accounted for 68% of all innings pitched. Just amazing. Just dominant pitchers. Strikeouts. Okay, Lee had the most innings pitched. Do you think he had the most strikeouts?
He's not the big strikeout guy.
Not a big strikeout guy, no.
But neither is Castillo.
Well,
let's see.
It is Castillo.
It is Castillo, okay.
Yeah. You knew it was going to be one of those two just on volume of cards. Yeah,
because of the volume. Yeah.
And again, Kluber, that's the guy I regret not putting on my team. He had a lot more success than I thought he would have. And you said that you're a big Kluber fan. Same with Van Gilder. If I could redo it again, it would be Castillo, Lee, Kluber, Van Gilder, and Hacker, probably as my five starting pitchers.
Get Lavangello and Porter Carrero out of there. Get Kluber in. I did not have Kluber in there. And it seems like Ventura, my community request.
Oh, and Bonzer is a surprise.
I had Bonzer in my
I did too. And only 27 managers had Bonzer, and that was kind of a surprise too. Bonzer and Hacker being so low, kind of shocked me a little bit. So here is the graph of the strikeouts. 19.6% of all strikeouts in bronze was from a Louis Castillo card. 16%, so that's what, 10, 20. About 37%, 38% of all strikeouts were from these two pitchers. Just, again, the volume that these guys pitched. Next up. Let's go to batters. And actually, we'll take a quick break because the break's going to kick in. Then we'll look at the bronze batters. Think about it, chat. Who was the most popular bronze batter selected in the PTCS? We'll be back in 2 minutes' time. Put it in the chat. Most popular batter. All right, we're back again. Thanks for tuning in. And this one, community drink from Ludlud to Cavacom. Don't know if you have a glass handy there, D-Block, but Ludlud, using his Hound Biscuits, he wants us to send out a community toast and cheers to Cavacom. Still the most rookie affiliate streamer. Still the newbie on the block. This one's to you, Cava. See you on Sunday. Unless you're streaming wrestling, then enjoy the wrestling streams. To you, Cava, from us. All right, there you go, Ludlud. Okay, so top 10 hitter. Who was the most popular hitter chosen in bronze? What do you think?
There would be three that it could be. I think it could be definitely Hold. And he will be basically my choice there. I think the Sweeney card will be very often used. And I think the Badu card will be very often used, but I'll take Hold.
And it wasn't close. Only 25 managers did not have a Brock Holt card, and Badu was number 2. And your Keston, you really pumped up that Herrera card, so people are listening to D-Block. He was number 3. He was ahead of Goodrum, Sweeney, Maine, JoJo, Dickshot. I mean, you're a Dickshot fan, you're a Herrera fan, Holt fan. People are listening. People are listening to our roundtable discussions, I think, because 103 with Brock Holt, yeah, he was automatic for me. In fact, most of these guys are automatic. Any surprises here that should have been higher or lower, in your opinion?
I would have guessed that the Rosenthal would be there too. But that's a little surprise. And the Piggy Ward, I thought would be higher too.
I think because there's so many options, or there's more comparable options for center field and for second base with Holt.
Yeah, but that Piggy is less than Goodrum. I wouldn't have guessed it. I would have thought that was the other way around.
Yeah, I love that Piggy card. He was my last cut for my bronze roster team, so he was very close to making it. These top 10 cards made up 45% of the roster cards and 55% for everyone else in the card pool. Remember, these were only rookie sensations and unsung heroes, so certain cards like a Xander Bogaerts or a who's the other one someone mentioned, Estelela, those guys did not qualify.
Yeah.
If they did, they would have been up there with Brock Holt for sure.
Definitely. The Horner and the Estelela would have been up there, definitely.
Next up.
If you look at that graphic again, there are 5 second basemen in those top 10.
Yeah, but versatile, right?
Exactly.
Cavan, Brock, Nico, like all these guys can play at least 2, maybe even 3 or 4 positions. So, yeah, good call with the versatility.
Can play none. So, yeah.
Okay, next up, total hits. You think, look, here's the card distribution again. So does it make sense Brock Holt had the most hits, or do you think one of these other cards had more hits than him?
And I don't think he has the most hits. I think he was on every lineup, but I think it's so many different positions and backup positions and all that. I don't think he has the most hits. I think it's Dogberry has it. I think it's Hura. Okay.
It was Holt. Sporer nailed it. Yeah, still Brock. And again, he had what was the difference in number of cards? 20,
40,
no,
39.
Yeah, 39 cards. So that's a huge difference in terms of hits. Yeah. And I don't know what the percentage would be. 922, compared to 752 percentage wise. Maybe Hura was better, but yeah, someone with a calculator out there figure that out percentage wise. Who is better hit wise?
I just figured that a lot of people had Holt in backup positions. But, of course, Hero has only the problem that he's of course only playing one way against righties, and that's it. But
And then a card like Bones Eli, who was selected less than JoJo, Goodrum, Gaddis. So Bones obviously was getting more starting positions because 414 hits, and he was almost your automatic shortstop.
Yeah.
But yet, 1/3 drafted him.
I actually played hold at shortstop, so.
Oh, did you? I think I had Bones against lefties and Holt against righties, I think. All right, so here's the percentage breakdown. Again, 50-50 kind of split between the top 10 and all the other cards in terms of hits. Brock Holt. Here's one that, let's see if you can nail this one. Most home runs. Which card, add up all the home runs in the tournament, which card had the most home runs?
That is difficult.
Olsen was easy for iron. This one's a little tricky.
That's a tricky, yeah. I think Oof says it's Gaddis. Yeah.
You think you're going with Oof and Gaddis? Anything else, chat? Great days, happy people. Ooh, that Shrek emote.
Well, no, it must be Euro. He still has a lot more hits and all that. Yeah, it must be Euro.
All right.
But Gaddis is probably close.
With 169 home runs, it was Keston. Gaddis number 2. Biggio's a surprise.
No, not for me.
Not so much, no?
No. I actually, in the PTCS preparation stream that I did talk with Charles about him, and I really liked this card at first base, and that's why I played him because I liked his power there, exactly. And a little surprising that Bones Eli is a little down there. I thought he would have been more closer to Gaddis and Biggio, but yeah, the Biggio is not a surprise for me there.
Yeah, this
but the Gaddis with the number of cards, of course, that is a big time and a big time thing, and that is one of my my downfalls there. That I only had him against righties, against lefties. And I switched it too late, but that is the problem when you're streaming and having showing the highlights. You don't have the time to micromanage that. That's really a problem there. But yeah, the Gaddis card was really good there, and I switched him in too late there.
This does include all the gym unknowns, the blank rosters and things like that. So yeah, unfortunately, some of the numbers are going to be inflated because of that. You know who shocked me? That Chris Duncan card. 23 cards, but he hit 84 home runs.
Yeah, that's surprising too. Yeah.
That's kind of the best home run rate of all these cards. And there were 13 managers that had Jake Lamb on their roster, and he hit 39 home runs in the tournament. Jake Lamb.
Yeah, he's good.
So, yeah.
I did have. I said I had the Schimpf at third base. I said it in iron. I did not. I had it here in bronze. The Schimpf at third base, and I should have put in, of course, Jake Lamb. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a good call. And like I said, that Chris Duncan card, he never even crossed my mind.
Well, he's very splitty. You can only use him against righties. He has 104 power against righties. So that is, of course, a lot. But
kind of like Reggie Willits, then, right? Split wise.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got a couple more, then we're going to get into some cards. Total War. We know the popular cards. Does that translate to the best war, the total war in the entire tournament? Who do you think, which batter had the highest percentage of war?
I've got to say Brock Holt with that many cards. It's Biggio. All right. Okay.
Good for Biggio. All right. Because this is a card that when it was released, a lot of people looked at it and said, I think he's okay, but I don't know if he quite breaks into meta. I don't know if he's quite there. And look at this tournament. He 22.1 war. So adding up all the Biggio war would equal 22.1, one more than Holt, a few more than Keston, Badu, good for Biggio because 58 cards too. So he had about half of Holt, and he still had the highest WAR. That's amazing. This card went off in this tournament. 10.3% of the entire WAR of the tournament goes to Kevin Biggio. And
That's
I don't know
lot,
if that is a lot. I did have him on my team. I was one of the 58 that had this card. Maybe I didn't use him in the right situation. Maybe I should have played him more. That to me is the most surprising stat in bronze is Biggio with half the cards of Holt, less than Keston, and still the highest WAR.
Yeah, with Keston, for example, you have to, of course, see that Keston usually, most people played him at DH, so he does not get any any defensive WAR in there too. But still, the Biggio card you really showed that this is a good card. Still, I guess he still has the problem to where to put him in a normal roster with. At first base, he will still has to run against Bob Horner, for example, or the new cards that came out today. And I'm not sure people will run him there. This was maybe his big niche where he showed how good he could be. But that was basically the perfect tournament for him with his gigantic eye and the good power. You can't have it much better here than this tournament. In this era, in this year, and in this park, it was just a perfect card there.
Yep. What a fun tournament. I like the fact that the card pool wasn't too large. I like the fact it didn't include the LEs, didn't include the special editions. It was just, a couple sections. So small card pool, a lot of same cards used, but at the same time, not really a lot of the same cards used because we didn't have more than one over 100. We had Brock Holt, and then the next one was, 80, I think. Let's go back to the so we had 100 and an 80, and then we go down to a half of the cards with in the 60s there. So so it wasn't as condensed as I thought it might be. I thought we might see maybe 4 or 5 cards 90 or above, and we just didn't see that in this tournament. Okay, well, halfway through the show here, we got another hour to go before we head off to the Dynastic Tuesday show, and let's talk about some of our favorite cards that came out recently. And we're going to start with Iron and D-Block. I'm just going to go from overall rating from the lowest one up to the highest. So we're going to end off with the 69 bronzes. And this one came out, I believe, on Saturday, the Jason Giambi. Always fun to look at the lowest cards out there. I know yesterday on my theme team, one of the helpers put the 40 Molina catcher on my team because he was the best card available in the packs that were open. Cap cards. So talking about cap situation here, because we're not using them in our regular Iron lineup, I don't think. I think the options at Iron catcher, whether it's Mathis, whether it's
he plays first base.
He plays first base. Yeah. Why am I thinking Giambi a catcher? First base. You got the Mark McGuire. That's a lower level card of 44. The Cecil Fielder is a 42. So when we're looking at cap cards, these lower level cards for first base, what do you think of Giambi? I think as a cap card, you take him because he's free, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, if you're he is with versus left, you having no eye there, you don't play him against lefties normally. You only play him against righties, and if you do that, then he has to run against Olsen, where Olsen is better. And if you want somebody basically like him, the McGuire card is better, I think. With
and I mean, in a cap situation,
and he's better. With the Cecil card, it would be kind of like if you want to run Giambi and Cecil in a platoon, because Cecil, you only play against the lefties and the Jambi against the righties. So he could basically run them in a low iron platoon. That would be something you could do. But still, you run McGuire there probably. The only thing where you run Jambi is, like you said, because he's a 40, and you can run them. You can have him there as a 40 bat that actually has some power and some eye against righties, but I don't see any avenue there where you otherwise play him because of Olsen and the McGuire card. I don't see that he has a big chance of playing, other than you want to put him in a low iron platoon with Cecil.
Yeah, I agree. Low iron, you play him, or in a cap situation, depending on the structure of the cap. I think I'm saving 10 points and going to use Giambi instead of Matt Olsen to save those 10 points.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I think you're right. Maybe I spend 4 more for McGuire, again, depending on the ballpark and the era and things like that. But McGuire is always going to be up there for me, that 3 outcome kind of player. And otherwise, low cap, I think it's going to be this combination here.
Yeah, and what Cage Wisdom also said, the somebody you can put in here too in those is of course the Cayman card with 46.
Yes, yeah. Okay, pitcher, 44 overall, Tim Hudson. So iron, we've got kind of our favorite, but there's still a lot of room for new iron pitchers to come in. It's kind of stale a little bit, but we do have a few starting to emerge. We saw in the Iron PTCS some of the ones that did well. Home run suppression, the BABIP, again, which we always seem to go to first, is looking at that BABIP. He's very splitty. It's a weird kind of split where he's good against control one way. Yeah. Are you even going to want to experiment with a card like Tim Hudson?
Now that we do not have any PTCS things running there, I could think about that actually.
I test him in a 5L. Why not?
Yeah, of course. For 5L, I'll take him. Yeah, of course.
So when we look at comparables of other 44s, we got the Sterling Hitchcock, which some people use in iron. He's got that good pitcher BABIP for a 44. Yeah. And then we have that limited edition Anthony Young, who's, got a lot of green and blue on there as well. So those are kind of our comparables. If you have all these cards, I don't think Hudson fits in a low iron because I think so he might fit in as maybe a bullpen guy. I might try him out there more, but as a starter, I don't know if I want that low pitcher BABIP in the starting role.
I probably won't.
Yeah,
the Hitchcock. I had the Hitchcock in my PTCS. And he was pretty good, I gotta say. Yeah, surprised me a little bit there, but he has a lot of control for iron, especially low iron cards, and same of course with the Anthony Young there. The new card has that extreme control against lefties, but less control against righties. But still, for iron cards, it's still kind of good control. I think anything above 45 is pretty good for iron cards as control, I think.
Yeah.
So but the low PBABIP just scares me.
Yeah. He doesn't make my iron dinner roster. He doesn't make my regular iron. I don't play low iron. So if anyone in chat plays low iron, let us know. If you're a low iron player, does he make your top 5? Does he make your bullpen? I'm curious, as a low iron player, what you guys think about the Tim Hudson, because that's one tournament I've never ever played, the low iron.
I think if you take like 20 off the home run suppression and put those 20 into the stuff, then he would be much more interesting for me. So
or even into pitcher BABIP.
No, if we say that the pitcher BABIP stays low, then he would be more interesting there if he has that higher stuff that at least in the 70s, the stuff that he can get himself out of the trouble with a strikeout there. But with the stuff that low, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think I agree with Chess Safari. I don't think he's for me. Of course, we have the Pettit, who's a 44 as well. We did see him in the PTCS, knocked me out of the tournament. He's only going to give you maybe 3 or 4 innings. Like, he just doesn't have the stamina. But it's one of those weird shaped cards that is do or die. I think you're going to have a lot of success against him, or he's going to kill you. Even with that 18 stuff, he had pitched 4 shutout innings against me in the PTCS. So I will forever remember Pettit. Another pitcher getting a little higher, still low iron though. We got the 47 Ray Pote. Here we have amazing control, pitcher BABIP. I like this kind of makeup for iron. Much more, especially as managers are getting away from the home run hitters. Even against the Mark McGuire, you're going to have some success because of that control. He's going to be able to paint the corners a little bit more with a good pitcher. Got the stamina. So I think this does go into your low iron, right? I think you have to. I think he's got to be one of the top 5, even though I don't know the comparables because I don't play low iron. It just looks like a good card for low iron.
If I have the chance to micromanage, I would always make sure that I would pair him with Mathis and not Main, for example. Then I wouldn't have any doubt that I could play him at full iron. With that control and put up the pitch around to the absolute maximum with Mathis behind the plate or with Molina behind the plate. I don't care that his home run rate is so low. Stuff is only the 60s, not in the 70s. But if you pair him with those kind of catchers, he will have his fair share of strikeouts too. And
I would have trouble playing him in any era, 1990 or beyond, because of the low stuff and because of the low home run. Like, I wouldn't want him in Coors Field in 1990.
Okay,
but compared to some of the other pitchers around that same range, we got the Ken Tatum, who a lot of people use in iron. We got the Gil Heredia. Again, 2 completely opposite builds here, but you got that control for Heredia and low stuff as well. But he's got the low pitcher BABIP. Here's a case of low control I would not use, or high control I would not use the Heredia as much because of that BABIP is just too low. It's below that threshold for me. But Tatum I do use in iron because he's got control, he's got pitcher BABIP, especially in the 5L if he comes up, or especially in the 1980s or before that. I think he's going to have success. Maybe not so much against the lefties, but I use him in the bullpen. So there are your kind of 2 comparables. So Ray Pote, 5L, I would draft him. 80s in an 80s tournament, I would take him.
80s and lower, I take him. Yeah.
Wade Miley. So here, a little different case. Control is really good. Home run suppression's really good. BABIP, stuff, Again, are comparable. Maybe when we look at a 50 compared to a 49, we got the Warren Hacker, which many consider meta. I still go Hacker by far because I want that BABIP rather than the home run suppression.
I wouldn't compare it to the BABIP is just so much different there. I think he looks more like the Cliff Lee card than the Hacker card. Cliff Lee with less stuff. That's how he looks like to me. And
or kind of like the Heredia too, like a similar kind of build, except Heredia has more control and a lot less pitcher BABIP.
Heredia has less control.
Yeah, Miley has less control.
Miley, I'm sorry, I was still with the card before. Yeah, exactly.
So Heredia around the same rating, a lot more control, less pitcher BABIP. Here, little more pitcher BABIP, less control, but otherwise the home run suppression and the stuff are pretty close. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer a little more evening out like Miley, or do you prefer a lot more control like Heredia?
I would like more evening out.
Yeah, me too.
Probably.
So,
Yeah. Just still, this card for me to play this card, he would need a little more stuff. Kind of like with the Cliff Lee. Don't give him the 70 from Cliff Lee, but the 60, and then we're like 12 stuff more altogether. Then we're talking.
Okay. So Chess Safari says in his low iron, he'd go with Page, Zambrano, Gooden, Stoner, and Maroth. Spores mentioning, well, CC might be in there as well. Valenzuela, some people might still use Valenzuela. So Chess, in terms of Pote or Miley, do they break into that top 5 for you as pitchers? Just kind of curious if they replace a Stoner or a Maroth. Okay. Floyd Bannister. Now we're getting into the higher iron. So cards that are more likely to break into like a dinner, an iron dinner plans. Looking at comparables, other 56s or higher irons, we got the John Means, who again is kind of in the meta. And we've got the Josh Towers as a 56 with a lot of control. Again, more balanced than those other 2 cards. I'd still easily go with Means. I want the control and BABIP over stuff, especially in the earlier eras. So what do you think, D-Block, about the Floyd Bannister? He had some success, I think, in early tournaments in the 5L I was watching. He did have some success.
I think I go Bannister over Means.
You would, huh? Bannister over Means. Why?
Because it's the control. The Means, the control is extremely high and the PBAB is extremely high. But if I compare that to other, especially the control to other iron cards, it is just still in the upper echelon of control. And with that stuff, with the home run suppression even higher. That's one of the things with the Means card. The home run suppression against righties just kind of scares me a little bit there. But I don't have anything with the Bannister. I like the Bannister much more. I think the thing that PBAB and control are high enough that I don't have to worry about it. And with that stuff, he gives me extra strikeouts and not a lot of walks. And he's a lefty. So that is just like the Means. So that is that would basically give me now suddenly, if I in my normal rotation, it gives me 3 lefties at the top with Hurst, with Bud Black, and with the Bannister. That's good. The complete turnaround from
you nailed it
for 90% of the cycle.
Exactly. I agree. Have both Means and Bannister. Like you're going to have both, I think, in your starting 5. And I do like that Bannister card. To me, I get it's comparing oranges and apples kind of because they're so different in terms of their makeup. But I think both are going to be on your roster in full iron. I think you're going to have both these guys. And like you said, both lefties. So they're going to have some success against those. Again, Bannister splits again back and forth kind of between the 2, but still better overall against the righties. So yeah, interesting card that I think many people are going to try out. I'm definitely taking him in the 5L if I come across him. Simber was the other one I kind of, brought up as well. He's got the lower pitcher BABIP, but he doesn't. I think he's a newer card too, isn't he? I think he came out recently. Yeah.
But he's
so where does
against lefties with a 33? I'm sorry, no, that's just
just little more stuff and a little more pitcher BABIP. Like get him up to 50, get him up to at least 40 versus the lefties. Maybe get him up to about 55 for stuff, and he's more of a dominant card. But he just not quite there. Adam Simber. Okay. Rich Gossage. Here's an interesting one because we always think Rich Gossage as a reliever. Here is the starter from the Chicago White Sox 1976 version, Rich Gossage, and balanced That's the thing that kind of stands out the most. Control, though, he's got that reliever control. So is this a guy that you just stick in the bullpen regardless, or do you think he has a starting opportunity?
I think he has a starting opportunity. Definitely, he's more like the one of those balance cards that we used, or that I used quite a lot, like the Highball Wilson or the Charlie Lee cards. And they do have a lot of value. Um, I he his splits may be too tough for starting, but I would definitely try it out, especially in the 5L, definitely. And with my 4 iron teams, I will find a spot on one of those teams to try them out. Definitely,
Yeah.
I like those. I am a big fan of those balanced things that they can't do anything extremely good, but that means that they have no flaw, and they are much more consistent than the those that are extremely good at one thing, but that is of course because they're iron. They have to have then multiple flaws in there, and this one basically the only flaw is a 59, which again for iron isn't even that low. It's still in the upper half of pitchers with the control. If you have big time P-BABIP like the Judd or like the Tommy Byrne or these kind of
Bronca.
cards,
Yeah.
Blanca, exactly. That is usually bought by having the control of like 0, and with
We've
these
come
they are much more
along.
consistent. You get that you won't get like the 1 X ERA from them in a tournament, but you probably won't get a 7 X either, which you can get from a Judd or a Bronca or something like that.
Yeah. We've come a long way from, April, May, June, where the iron pitchers were all like this Judd and Carl
Yeah,
Lundgren and
yeah,
Lefty, uh, they were all very similar.
Wyckoff, yeah.
Bronca, again, one of those guys. My top iron pitcher, and it's not even close for me, is Bruce Hurst. I think he's the best iron pitcher out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Lee is still really good. He's one of the better pitchers. I don't think Gossage goes into my top 5 for the daily iron tournament. I think I might use him in the bullpen because, again, you got Hurst, you got Lee, maybe you got the John Means, and maybe you got the which other
But
one did
Black.
we just
But Black.
Bannister?
But the Bannister now, the new one. But the thing with the Gossage is you would have to compare him with Highball, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think he loses out to Highball Wilson.
yeah, yeah. And Highball, a lot of people now use Highball in the bullpen rather as a starter. So
Yeah.
if you're not using Highball as a starter, you're probably not using Gossage as a
No,
starter, like
no,
you said.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to some of the bronze cards. Good timing here. We're going on. Bronze, again, I still favor over iron. I'm still more of a bronze guy than
Me
iron.
too.
This card, for a bronze card, a low bronze card at that, there's a lot of competition. Again, first base is always one of those positions where you usually get a lot of good power and eye guys. He's got the power, D-Block. He has the power. And when we compare him to other power first basemen, there's that Mark McGuire at 44 still. And then there's a Luke Easter, who is one of the more higher power guys. This card, though, Tony has a lot more to offer, though, rather than being a 3 outcome kind of guy.
Definitely. First of all, yeah, he beats those two very handily.
Yeah.
I think.
Does he beat Matt Olson?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't think of any other first baseman.
John Jaso.
Jaso, right.
That would be the card here.
Yeah.
That you basically have to compare him with.
Yeah.
The thing is that a lot of people now play the Bob Horner card at first to play the Estrella card at third, so that have both in there. So you would have to compare him a to the Bob Warner card, and if you're playing a platoon, it is right now I think the Jaso and the Dale Murphy card. so far in Platoon. I think that changes with both cards that came out here today. Could change at least.
And
If you want to,
Mazzilli plays
Mazzilli is
first?
is completely different card. I mean, Mazzilli has no power. He's a
No,
both way card.
he plays first baseman. A lot of people use him at first
Use
base.
him there,
So
yeah, but I don't
yeah.
really. I'd never really understood why you would do that. If you can play the Horner card there and get the Estrella, then you will have to play the Estrella at left field.
Yeah.
So that would be. It's kind of, like I always say. This team building, especially in bronze, is more like a Tetris game.
Yeah.
To fit all those different boulders together to not make a tilt here. But the Mazzilli, of course, is a lot of people love that card. I never got really into it because I could never really find a place for it.
He does so good though in
I
the
know. I know.
He's one of the top hitters in 5L, but he's, like you said, it's Tetris because of all levels, like iron, gold, silver. I think bronze is the most versatile of plug and play because at first you could put, I think, Holt, Biggio, Mazzilli, this card here. You can use some iron cards. You can use, there's so many options that you could put at first base. And against the righties, though, like that power and that eye combined with some BABIP, some gap power.
Let's take a look at the JSO card here.
Yeah, if you can share your screen, I can pop that on.
Yeah, just a second. I'll just get him up here.
I mean, as a cap card, yeah, he's only going to cost you 4 points in a cap situation, so that might come into play too. Whereas some of those versatile guys are 67, 68, or 69.
It's JSO.
And it's a Kansas City Royal.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Little before your time, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah.
We're just going to pull up the John JSO card and take a look at whether or not he can replace that. Okay, we're good to show that now.
Okay, so we have the John JSO card here. So he does not have that power, but he is much better at Void K's. Has a lot of gap power there, better BABIP. And I is a little bit better.
So 101 I compared to 93. Gap power is 69 compared to 88. BABIP 82 compared to 72. So you're basically gaining in home run power.
You're gaining home run power, but you're losing in gap power and I. Even though the eye is of course pretty good, but and in BABIP, so you will get you will get more home runs, but overall, I think the hitting will go down a little bit with him.
Yeah, no, good call. I think I stick with John JSO, and JSO's more versatile. He plays 4 positions, so if needed. Okay. Let's talk about the Matt Olson card. Yeah, he's better than the Matt Olson card. Like, Matt's good at power, but this new Tony card is better at everything else. So Jim Leyritz. So now we're talking about catchers. So Hank Conger, Brent Maine, for some people even still Jeff Mathis that they might use. Good against the lefties.
Mm-hmm.
We got Conger. We got Kenji. We got Asmuth even. I still like Kenji, even though the eye's not as great. I know you like Conger.
I like Conger as a backup and defensive sub, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually play, my normal play is Kenji with Conger. And then from the 7th inning on, if we're in a safe situation, then bring in Conger. Yeah.
Here's a catcher with eye. Plays first base, 93 catcher ability
Yeah, but
compared to 91, 87.
just listen to that. To this, what you could do would be, you could, if you say Estelela at third and Horner at first, you could play Jaso at catcher. His catching ability is, of course, very low at 60. But you know me, I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Put him against the righties with Leyritz as a defensive sub for him in a safe situation from the 7th inning on, and play Leyritz against the lefties.
So
At catcher.
you still have Kenji or Conger or both?
No, both Kenji and Congo would be gone there, of course. But what you would probably gain is probably even more offense than you would get from Kenji. I think.
Agreed with the offense. More
at
walks,
least more home run power than you would get with Kenji. You would have more strikeouts, yeah, but with the eye, a lot more walks. I think you would get more offense out of that than with the Kenji alone.
So interesting, putting Jaso a catcher and losing some of that catcher ability. That's not going to sit well with the defensive players out there.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. I totally understand that, and I don't want him to be there for the whole game. I just want him there to get us the lead, and then bring in Leyritz with the decent catching ability of 93, and bring him in there to bring the game home.
Yeah. Well, it definitely is another option. It gives us something to think about, and I'm going to test him a lot more in that 5L when I come across him, just to see how he plays before I commit to him in dailies. Because I don't know. I like Kenji. It's going to be hard for me to get rid of Kenji.
I love Kenji. I love him. I think he's if you want to go one way, if you want to go with the typical Kenji Conger thing, you're gonna be fine, of course. But if you want to play this Leyritz, I think that is the way to do it, with in a platoon with Jaso at catcher or at first base. Of course, you can play both at first base, but then you'll have to play probably in the Horner somewhere else. Play him at third and Estelela at left. So that's going to be difficult.
What are you willing to keep Kenji and get rid of Conger and bring in Leyritz as your second catcher? You're giving up a little you're giving up 12 in ability, but this is bronze. Like, this is low level. Like you said, you don't care as much about defense there. So are you willing to give up Conger to get a little more with the bat?
And play him Kenji against right and Leyritz against left, or Kenji all the time,
or Kenji full way, and just have Leyritz as your backup.
You can do that too.
Backup first baseman.
You can do that too, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe. I like the Conger card, of course, but because the catching ability of Kenji is just not high enough to really. I mean, he's okay, but I don't know. You can do that probably. I would still, you know me, I'm more the offensive guy there. I would still play Jaso and Leyritz, but I think that's a nice conundrum. Right? You have so many options here now.
Yeah.
With at catcher there, you still have that Gaddis card that you can do the same thing here, of course. Play the Gaddis card there. Then with Leyritz, that would be another thing. What you could do.
It's a fun card. I mean, there are going to be people that look at this and say, no, it's not playable because it's not the best defensive catcher. It's not the best offensive catcher. So for many people, therefore, it doesn't fit either of their two baskets. So we're just throwing them out. But I think I would use Kenji, and I would try out Leyritz as my backup catcher, first baseman. But it's a nice problem to have. It's probably the most interesting card so far we've looked at.
Definitely.
In terms of playability.
What Spora says that a lot of people, when that Jojima card came out that they really hated it. I remember someone saying that this card is unplayable, and but you gotta give us credit. Led and myself both said from day one that we liked this card a lot, and thanks Tetsuichi for suggesting that card. That made the catching division really fun. I mean, having such a different card in there. That was really fun, and showed especially it showed that you do not have to play a Mathis, the black hole at catcher, just to have success.
I'm telling you, this year compared to other years this late in the cycle, and having what I consider a lot of quality options come out for a lot of different positions, is amazing at the lower levels. I'm not talking higher levels because it's always been power creep along the way, but for the lower levels, we're getting different looks to the cards that make them interesting rather than just a power creep. We're getting a completely different shape of the card that makes it possible to use. So yeah, shout out to
Charles, of course, wants to make it even more fun with the Tony Sucker. I see. Yeah, okay.
Just give them blue and everything defensive, and give them a lot of eye, and that's it. Eye and everything blue defensive, and let's see how Charles rates them. Anthony Suction, yes. Okay, let's go on to some of the bronze pitchers. Eric Milton, and it's so tough to break into the bronze meta pitching. It is easy in iron, especially when you want more lefties. But in bronze, it is tough. And yeah, he's a well-balanced pitcher. If he was iron, I'd say for sure he's in my top 5. But as a bronze guy, he just doesn't get there for me.
No, if you look at that, he's basically he's a Cologne that has less control.
Yeah.
Or he's a Bob Caruthers with more stuff. He's in those two cards in between with the same shape, like the Cologne and Caruthers. He fits right in there. You don't play the Caruthers normally. You did play him. Some played him here in the PTCS, I think, but
he might be top 10, top 15, but he's not in my top 5 starters. Yeah,
there. I mean, I probably could tell you 15 cards that I would play over this card. And
well, even in
that is not to say that this is a bad card. If that card comes up in the 5L, I'm very, very happy to draft him because he's a good pitcher. But I think there are just the competition for bronze pitcher is just so hard, even as a lefty.
Yeah.
Well, D-Block never going to have a chance against Dontrell Willis. Even against Cliff Lee, he doesn't stand a chance. Just to pick out two lefties there, it's 5L definitely. I'll draft him.
Yeah,
don't even have to look at it. Don't have to think about it.
I think you have to keep it simple. Look at the PTCS, which was limited to rookies and unsung heroes.
Yeah,
and even then, I don't think he fits into the top. He might make the number 5 guy, but you still have Lee, Castillo, Lemongello, Portocarrero, those kind of guys that I think I still take. He might be number 5 there, but put in all the pitchers once you add Willis and those other guys. No, he's but a good option for the 5L for sure. Comparable cards, even Whitey Ford. I think I take Whitey Ford over him. Lemongello we talked about. Probably take Lemongello over him.
I'm done with Lemongello. I mean,
after the
PCS, I'm done with him. Please get eaten in some hospital somewhere else.
Well, again, the 80s though, I think Lemongello earlier than the 80s, the 80s, I think he's more successful. He does have success in the 5L. He's not one of the top 5, but he does have some success because of the shape in the earlier eras. But yeah, I think he's gone now. Whitey Ford, I would still take though, even with that low control. I still like Whitey Ford. And then Sonny Gray, another comparable.
No chance. I mean, That's not even close with the Sonny Gray.
Yeah. So Sonny Gray is definitely above that one. And of course, Louis Castillo is still
Also,
one of your.
no chance there. I mean, to get it by him, even with the splits.
For some people that don't like the Cliff Lee, but how can you not? Results speak. Results speak. Look at the PTCS. Look at the 5L. Cliff Lee still continues to dominate. Will he have bad games? For sure. He will have some bad games, but he'll have more good games than bad games. And that's kind of what you want. Oh, Cliff Lee. Love ya. Love ya, Cliff Lee.
Now, that is an interesting card here.
Yes. Escobar at third. Oh, we've got Estelela, though. We've got Bob Horner.
Yeah. But he can play second.
Yeah. But then at second, we got Brock Holt. We got even some people use Mondesi. Comparables, there's Joey Gallo. A lot of people are kind of dropping Joey Gallo now off their rosters with that 3 outcome. Scott Brocious is there. And who's the other Scott? There's Scott Rowland. And there's, who is
Dr.
the top? DeCinces, yeah. DeCinces was the top hitter in 5L in January. Top hitter. So I don't think he fits in. He just doesn't. He's a good card, but
first of all, what card is basically now meaningless is the Brocious.
The Brocious,
card is meaningless with him.
Oops.
He's just a better Brocious.
Well, is he though with the eye though? I mean, if you're using him against the lefties, that 33 eye where Brocious is, more well-rounded, 83 eye. That's a big difference. I don't know.
I think the avoid K is I think giving that back to me again.
So 87, 86, and 96. 87, 86, 86 and 96. So you're gaining a lot of gap power. You're gaining a ton of avoid K, little bit more power, but you're giving up the I and what was the BABIP? 74, so about the same.
You lose an I, you lose in the walk, but you don't strike out.
Isn't the Warbot's in the stream? We're just he heard Tony suck, and
no, he mentioned that.
Oh, he was the one that mentioned it earlier.
Yeah,
okay. Wonder how Izadaffa will rate a third baseman with no eye, but a lot of third base defense. Yeah.
And you did put the historic Joey Gallo in there. I don't even know why you always put everybody's playing the historic one. I think the live one is much better than the historic one.
Well, again, I can only go off what I see in the 5L, and the historic one completely outperforms the live one when it's played.
The thing is that I haven't seen the live one quite. I've seen the historic one quite often, but the live one I haven't seen it much.
I've seen it the odd time. I mean, if I see either, I take it because you don't get offered both of them. So if I see one of them, I will take it. But I still like the historical a little bit better.
Really? I like the live one better. But at third, I mean, if you play the Bob Horner at third, then of course, then there's no place for that at third.
Yeah, and even if you play him at first, you'd have to put Estelela at left field. So it's going to cost you a good card if you put in this player here. It's going to cost you a card, like a decent card. Whether it's a Goodrum, whether it's who else? Holt, whether it's Kevin Biggio, it's going to cost you a card. Is it worth getting rid of a good card to get him in the lineup and have to shift your players around to different positions?
Now you do know that I do play at times Keston at second. He is a pretty good platoon for Keston.
No, with that defense, you put him at second?
No. What did Charles say? He wears his gold glove in the field.
in the non-DH leagues, you kind of have to, right? If you want him in the lineup.
If you want that bat in there,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to. But that Escobar could actually play at DH as a platoon with Keston.
I can't remember who my platoon guy is with Keston right now.
Right now, mine is pretty.
Is it pretty? Oh,
Mhm.
okay. All right. Well, let's move on because we got a few more to go before the top of the hour here. So yeah, another card option you have there at third base, at second base, even at DH. For me, I'm not going to use him because of that eye. He's more dominant against the lefties, but that eye, Charles, I think you'd agree with me. That eye is just.
I think
too
it's a
low
very,
for him.
very interesting card, though. I mean, a very fun card that you can play around with. And if you want more home run power, other than Horner, he's your guy basically there.
Yep.
The Escobar card there.
Ken Hill, Montreal Expos, and Spore has been given so much love to the Montreal Expos,
Yeah, he
whether
does.
they're on the card or former players like the Rex Hudler one, which we'll talk about in a bit. So here again, we have another starter. Again, better against the righties. So well, in some things, better against the righties. But when we look at these guys again, he's closer than that first pitcher we looked at.
Mhm.
I might try him out as a number 5 guy. Castillo, like I think McNally's days, Giolito's days, I think they're kind of out of the 5 now. He might be a guy that is better than them, although he doesn't have that pitcher BABIP of those players, and that stuff might be a little low too. So yeah, he might be very borderline.
Yeah,
What do you
but
think
remember, since I am very, I don't really forgive, since I am banishing Lemongello and Porto Carrero for my teams. There is some room now.
Yeah. Does he replace a Whitey Ford?
I think so, yes, because of the control.
But the pitcher, so you're losing, what's Ford have? 97. You're gaining about 30 control, and you're losing 17 pitcher BABIP.
I think that's a fair trade.
And you're getting more home run suppression. So I think so. I think
that's a fair trade.
Yeah, I think it's a fair trade. Control, home run suppression for pitcher BABIP, because it's still decent. It's not like
it's not that I'm going to a Cliff Lee level there.
Yeah,
of pitcher BABIP.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think again, bring him on in the 5L. I'm taking him. I'm trying him out. Next up, we've got Mike Hegan, first base, right field. Weird combination. You got a first base, right fielder, more of an outfielder, I guess. Oh, here's your Reggie Willits comparable. Very splitty.
Now
we're running either Clemente, or we're running maybe Youngblood for some people, but Ivo Goodman's the guy I'm running. Great platoon with Ivo Goodmo, isn't he?
Oh, not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. Who are you using?
First of all, his first spot is, of course, first base. And if, with everything we said before about first base, if you want to play him, if you want to play a platoon at first base, he might take over for Jaso at first base against righties.
You still got that Jaso card up there? Yeah.
Yeah. He might, I said.
Yeah. Oh, for sure he takes over Jaso. You're not getting the power evens better than Jaso. So I'll read off the Hegan card here. So Hegan's 106 versus righties BABIP, 67 power. He is 61 avoid Ks, 90 gap power, and 108 I. So the only thing you're losing is avoid Ks, and it's significant, about 34. That's all you're losing. So He's either platooning with Goodman or he's platooning with who's the other one? First base, lefty.
Dale Murphy.
Yeah,
Or
Dale
that
Murphy.
new card.
Yeah.
That Averts. If you
But
want to
he's for
play
sure.
with Averts first.
I'm finding room for him, D-Block. He's on my team. I'm putting him in there.
Okay.
Either in right field or defense, or first base, I mean. Probably more so right field, because I don't think I have a true right field platoon with Goodman. I don't think.
What do you do with Bobby Abreu?
Well, bring up Abreu. Is he on your screen?
Of course he is.
What's it? Is it 116i there or 118?
116i, yeah.
Okay. Versus 108. 90 gap power versus 72. 61 avoid K. 67 power and 106. I'm playing him over Abreu.
Okay.
Absolutely.
With that bad defense there from Abreu.
Yeah. Abreu's gone. This card is better. I mean, the only thing that Abreu has is better eye and a little bit more power. Eye and power. And again, do you want Abreu eye power guy, or do you want a little bit more well-rounded guy?
That's the thing. What you want. That's like I said, the Tetris game again. If you, for example, there was a short period where I had basically no power on my team. Everybody was just BABIP and I. And that did not work out because I got on base a ton, but I didn't score runs. So I need somebody to get those runs home there. If you need some more power on your team, Abreu is your guy, I think. But if you have already the power on other spots, then the Hegan card is there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I like this card against the righties, and I'm eager to try it out. Eager to play it. So Abreu, for me, Abreu comes off, and he's a platoon with, like I said,
Ivo
with this.
Goodman, yeah.
Ivo Goodman. Yeah.
And with Clemente, of course, we do have the advantage that he can play as the only Clemente card that can not only play right field, but also the center field and left field.
Yeah.
So if you do want to play Clemente, you can still do that.
Yeah. And I think I still keep him on my team. I mean, with that BABIP and gap power. And again, in the 5L, he continues to do well. So yeah I'm going to keep him. All right, so we've got a few more to go, and we're going to head over to Dynastic at about 10 after the hour. So we still need about 15 more minutes here. So we're pretty good on time, having some great conversations. And you got a good card set, good card release when you're having these conversations. It's not
definitely. Good job, Spar. That was really a fun release here.
Yeah, and again, D-Block and I and D Dempsey and so many of us lower level players, we get so excited when these cards come. I get more excited than the Thursday releases.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Honestly.
Me too.
Honestly, yeah. Clay Buchholz, Boston Red Sox.
Disqualified. Okay, let's go.
Disqualified? Okay.
Yeah. The Red Sox. So let's go to the next card.
Because he's a Red Sox?
Yeah. Philly, Red Sox, doesn't matter. Go.
Charles wanted a 15-minute conversation on him. Chess Safari's a big Red Sox fan. Captain Kegleg's a Red Sox fan.
I know, Mr. Audit. I know.
Mr. Audit, yeah. We got so many Red Sox fans.
Yeah. Red Sox Nation, whatever.
Oh, Captain Kegleg heard you. He heard you, D-Block. Watch out. No more, what were you guys? No more ancient alien talk with you, D-Block.
Ancient alien talk?
Yeah. Wasn't that something that came up on your stream? You were talking about the show Ancient Alien?
Very likely.
Oh, yeah. Or was it Mystery Science Theater? I don't know. You guys were going back and forth about one of those shows.
Ancient Alien.
In all seriousness, we've looked at kind of some of the big guys. Whitey Ford, Cliff Lee, Louis Castillo, Sonny Gray. So maybe Sonny Gray's the best comparable here. because their makeup is probably the closest here. Home run suppression, pitcher BABIP a little lower, control at 61, stuff at 52.
Yeah, the gray is better. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, is he though?
That control is just too low for me.
Buchholz has better home run suppression.
Yeah.
Better pitcher BABIP.
Yeah.
He's losing 10 to 12 on stuff, and control he's losing 9. So are you giving up 10 stuff, 9 control for about 10 of each for home run suppression and pitcher BABIP?
Yeah. Probably. Against lefties, I'll take. Let me put it this way: against lefties, I think the gray is better. But against righties, probably the Buchholz might be actually better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I got a little distracted by the green and yellow here, but yeah, against righties, the Buchholz is probably better.
So I guess it depends on, what's the meta hitters that you're facing. If you're facing a lot of righties, you go Buchholz. If you're facing a lot of lefty hitters, then you probably go Sonny Gray.
Ancient asteroid theorists would say yes. You don't know that. You don't know that reference. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will do. The thing is, I will probably put the Buchholz in my bullpen. And if I can micro him in the right situation if I have a righty heavy lineup there. That is probably what I would do.
And Warbot's wondering what his base running ability is like, because he can bunt. He can bunt. Can he run fast though? Can he beat out a bunt? Can he get a bunt hit? Clay Buchholz from the Boston Red Sox, who we all love, right, D-Block? We all love the Boston Red Sox. I'm a Blue Jay fan, and it's hard to love the Boston Red Sox.
It's very hard.
The only one team I don't like is the New York Yankees. I think maybe we can agree we don't like the New York Yankees.
I would rather be like the Yankees than the Red Sox.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I'd cheer the Red Sox.
Mainly because, I liked the Red Sox when the curse was still on, so because I had kind of like a little pity on them. Since then, they have become basically kind of like a new evil empire, and they still think to be entitled to get some pity. And no, you won't get any pity from me.
But hey, the Red Sox have the better ballpark, right?
Definitely, of course. That's definitely. How can you compare that? That's the one is a new ballpark, and the other one is just an iconic old ballpark.
Okay, we're distracted. We got to get moving here. All right.
Sorry about that.
Now this.
Sorry about that, every Red Sox fan. That I just cannot say nothing.
This guy here, I've got room on my roster for. I don't know if it's as a starter, but I like that control. We're starting to see a lot of lower level pitchers with high control now rather than the pitcher BABIP. But again, very splitty, weird splits. He's better home run suppression against the lefties, but better pitcher BABIP against the righties. So he might give up some home runs on one side, some more hits on the other side. Stuff maybe a little low. Again, I might try him in the bullpen, maybe. Looking at him more closely now, 63 stamina.
He's going to start on one of my 4 teams. I'm going to put him in this starter and just test him out there. That's one of the advantages to have that many teams. Just to, especially now that there's nothing to run for. I will test him out as a starter. I think he could have a lot of success there.
He's a guy you look at and you don't immediately pass. You
you try to find a spot for him on your team here.
Yeah. Just that control. I'm so curious how that's going to play out with a more balanced, high control and balanced everything else. So again, Whitey Ford, we kind of look at he's above Whitey Ford for me. He's playing above Whitey. He's playing above Lemongello now. Sonny Gray, you get more control, but you get more home run and BABIP with Sonny Gray. So we might be on level, on par with Sonny Gray for me. And Louis Castillo, you know what? He might give, well, Louis got the stuff, though. He's one of those pitchers that have the stuff and BABIP. Yeah.
I think
But again, he's in the conversation, except for Cliff Lee. He's not better than Cliff Lee. Sorry. No.
Yeah,
Cliff.
he's not.
No. He's better than Dave Stieb. I'll admit that.
Well, that's not hard, is it?
No, it's not. Okay. Shortstop, third base, second base. We got a Montreal Expo Kevin Biggio type of card here. Look at that pitcher look at that BABIP D block, and look at that gap power. This is your kind of card, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
This has got your name written all over it.
Terrible.
Okay, so
Terrible.
Does he fit anywhere though? Does he fit at second, third, short? Not short because of the defense, I don't think. Bogarts is still better for me, I think.
You do remember who you're talking to, right? For some of the cards that I've been running, this is probably pretty good defense.
Yeah, that's true. Can you bring up the Bogarts quickly on your screen?
Yes. I shouldn't have him here, right there.
That Bogart. So I guess you could, this card is better against righties. Bogart's better against lefties.
He has the same defense.
Yeah, and defense is about the same. 82 range compared to 83 range. So let's kind of go back and forth here. 114 BABIP versus 99. Gap or power is a lot lower. Well, half. 87 versus 74 avoid K. We got 118 gap power better, and the eye is better. Yeah, I think if I can platoon him with Bogarts, I have no problem doing that. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I think that's easy.
Or second or third. Well, maybe not third. Third, there's so much competition for. But
exactly. And second, also with the cards we had already there, what we talked about, and there's one more second baseman coming.
Yeah.
And but at short, that is definitely an option. When you don't have Arky, you don't have Stalker. Yeah, you play him over Aussie, but
and he's a better pretty. He's a better pretty.
Then you play them probably as a platoon there now. I played Bogarts both ways, but I can feel to play Bogarts against the lefties and have new card against the righties. Yeah.
Thank you for getting revenge, GT Sundown. Thank you for avenging my team that lost to Warbot in round 1 of the 5L. My manager from EMLB. Well, Spore is the defending champ there, GT Sundown. So he's the defending. He won yesterday. So you're going to have to take the belt away from him. I don't know if I think he lost. I don't know how his Detroiters. They were in round 2. Spore, update us. Are your Detroiters still in the tournament? Are you going to go back to back? But basically, D-Block, Bogarts is no longer the only go-to option at short. You've got options.
Well, the other option you do had and always have here is the Everett card. If you want defense, then you play, of course, the Everett card. If you do not have one of the LEs, and what I did, of course, was let's put it this way. There you go. Have the Bogarts card with the okay defense there, and then of course play the Everett card then as a defensive replacement. That will be gone then, of course. If you play the Everett, would have to go, and then the what's his name, Bob Berry. You won't have a good defense option there at shortstop, and I know that a lot of people will think about not doing that. I'm sorry, Mondesi is worse than all those players.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe you have a guy, a utility guy that as a defensive sub late in the games at shortstop for both these guys, but these are my platoon right now. I'm platooning Bogarts and Brett, and the more Expos I can have in my lineup, the better. Okay, speaking of former Expos, even though it's not Expo on the card, I always remember him as an Expo. I think this was a card you requested as well that got put into the game. Now, Charles, look away. Look away, Charles. Charles, I've warned you, look away. Okay, Charles is looking away. Second baseman with no eye. Must have for you?
I have him already.
Okay. Who's he platooning with? What's your roster showing there?
Keston at DH.
Okay. At DH. How about in a non-DH 5L? Are you taking him?
Definitely. I mean, look at the card. It's an awesome card against lefties.
Can you bring up Brock Holt for a sec? I'm trying to think of who I play at second base. So Brock Holt. Yeah.
You do get, of course, the eye here with Holt.
Yeah.
But with Rex, you get massive power at second base, somewhere where you do not expect that. You have an 13 better BABIP. The Void K is about the same, 59. Actually, Hudler is better with 9 points. Gap power is 108. For Brock, it's 86. So you have you have 82i. You lose that, okay, but you gain a lot of home run power there. That's 11 to 91.
If Roberto Clemente could play second base, he'd be Rex Hudler. There you go. So yeah, we got Brock Holt. There he is. There's comparison there. Yeah, I find room for him. The eye, I don't like it, but I'm willing to try it out. Okay, we got to rip through these last couple because we got 5 minutes here. Russo, another pitcher here. Russo, a lefty, good pitcher. BABIP, losing on control. Mm-hmm. Again, very easy. I think he's playable. I think I try him out with that pitcher. BABIP.
Very nice control. Bullpen pitcher.
Yeah, bullpen pitcher.
With that low control, I put him in the bullpen and be very happy with him. Yep.
Bullpen guy for me. Yep, but he's going to be on my team in the bullpen because he's pretty balanced everywhere else. All right. Now, in terms of who yourself and D. Dempsey and I had as our starting five when we did our round table, I had Giolito, Ford, Castillo, Gray, Gaines. I think Castillo, Gray, Gaines are still going to be in my top five, but I think we've seen some pitchers today that are going to replace Whitey, Ford, and Giolito for me. Your five in terms of the Bronze Brunch: Cone, Castillo, Braden, Giolito, Gray. Can you see any of these five leaving?
Yeah, Giolito's gone.
Giolito?
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay.
And I think David Cone is gone too. He's going into the bullpen with that low control. So that would be two places where I can try some of the new cards there.
Okay, but that's great. We did this round table 2 weeks ago, and already 40% of our starting rotation is changed, which I love. We have options, and Giolito probably can go to the pen for me. I'll probably try him in the bullpen
with that high stuff. Yeah,
how he does, and. Whitey Ford, I don't think he's a bullpen guy. I think he might have to leave the roster. So cool. And for D. Dempsey, I'm sure he'll probably drop off Lemongello, Dave Stieb. I can't speak for him. McNally. Those top three guys I think are out of the most people's rotation now. Messersmith though is might be a number 4 or 5 guy still for a lot of teams.
From Andy, for me, Cliff Lee is my stopper.
Cliff Lee, yeah, me too. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent there.
Yeah. Cliff Lee is a great stopper, but he's also a good starter if you want to use him. So win-win wherever you put him. I just wouldn't put him middle relief or anything like that. Either use him as a stopper or as a starter. Okay. Speaking of second baseman, we just talked about one that came out with the Rex Hudler. Who else did we look at? This Brett Barbary card. Now we've got
another
one. This time again, I don't use him. I don't use them. I think
Yeah, look at
there's
that
better
power.
options. Yeah. The power's like the power, yeah. But the eye? Does he have an eye? Is he wearing a patch over one eye? Like is he going with his eyes closed and just swinging?
Yeah, maybe he has a black eye from fighting
Oh,
somebody
Bautista.
else.
Well,
Yeah.
no, Bautista is not much of a fighter.
No,
Let's
no, yeah,
face
he
it.
went down like a sack of grain or whatever. But maybe he got a fight. Did fight somebody of his size. Maybe a hockey player.
Yeah. You know, D Block, of all the cards today, I'm the most curious about this one. It's either going to be boom or bust, I think, for this card here. He's going to be like a Bob Horner, and against the righties, the power your way through with 16 home runs in the 5L, or he's going to strike out all the time. And
I think he's one of those cards. He can bring you a championship, but he can also sink your whole team.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know if I want to gamble on this card. Like you said, he can win it for you in the 9th inning with a walk-off, or he can lose it for you in the 9th inning. So yeah, I just think there's so many good second base options from the cards we looked at already today, the cards that were already out there. But the 5L again is our sandbox. It is the place we get to check these cards out and see how they perform. Last one that was added in at the end, the Justin Ruggiano.
Yeah, I hate that card. I really hate that card. Sorry, Spora.
Why? You're perfect for you. He's got very little defense, and he's got very good everything else.
Yeah, but look where he plays.
Left, right.
Against the lefties. And who's playing left against the lefties?
Is it Bobby Estelela?
No.
No. Is it Johnny Dickshot?
Yes.
Oh,
And
bring
he's
up
definitely
Johnny.
better than Johnny.
Bring
He's
up Johnny
better.
on the screen. Come on, show us Johnny. One of the mandatory cards in the When Mullets Were Cool pop-up, Johnny Dickshot.
Where is he? Where's my Johnny?
Oh, you're all talk. He's not even on your roster anymore. Oh, yeah.
On this, I tried out Hutler there. I'm sorry.
You're just like, Johnny, you're gone. Gone. No loyalty.
There you go.
All right.
He's worse.
You got Mr. Dynastic. Here is your 5-minute warning. Mr. Dynastic, you please start up your stream. Everyone stay to the left. Please walk to the left as we head to Dr. Dynastic. Okay. Johnny Dickshot. Yeah, no question.
He was the best left fielder against lefties. It was better than Benintendi. He was better than Edu. You could platoon all of them with Dickshot. He was better than all of them. But now, I'm sorry, Johnny, you have to go to your dugout and pour me some beer. That's all you can do. I'm sorry about that.
Johnny come lately. All right. Can we see Estelela again? I can't remember what his ratings were like because I think I use him in left field.
Do I have him here? Yes, I do.
You know, it's pretty bad when a new card comes out and it makes a meta card look inferior.
Against the lefties, yeah. I mean, against righties, he's still pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, he's better against righties for sure.
But against lefties, yeah.
I wonder what kept him in bronze level. Like, I guess he's just so bad against the righties that he just squeaked into the bronze. Good, because at silver, he might even play into silver. I don't know you silver players out there. You play silver, D Block. Is he even an option for silver in the outfield?
Well, the competition in the outfield is pretty high, but in low silver, I could think about playing him against lefties. The defense, the range is 71, isn't that high, but at left, I mean, there are. If you look at Strawberry or something like, they don't have much better defense. So I could see to play him in low silver against the lefties. Definitely. I mean, look at that card. I mean, it's just with that BABIP, that home run power, both over 100, and the eye is still at 94. Jesus. I mean,
yeah, no, it's. I mean, if someone's looking at this card and said no, he can't play on your team, like I question. I mean, obviously, if you don't want a platoon and you want a full time, both sides, no. But in a platoon situation, look at that blue. The sky is blue for Justin Ruggiano. So when we look at our what we had in our round table for our second base choices, I was using Pretty and Holt at second. You were using Holt and Avias. This has changed quite a bit in the last couple of weeks for me, anyway. Like, has it for you for the bronze brunch? Avias, Holt stays. Is Avias still on your team? Do you think, or do you think one of these new cards?
Definitely not. There's very likely the Rex Hutler.
Yeah,
there or somewhere else.
We
just saw that with the PTCS that the from the top 10 cards were 5 were second baseman. Yeah. I mean that position is so filled.
Third base, we all were using Horner in the
Escalator there now.
What's that?
And then Escalator there and Horner at first base.
Yeah. So we've changed that on the round table. Shortstop, again, you and I were running Bogarts. D. Dempsey was using Everett. That has changed for me now. I'm going to run a platoon at shortstop.
Yeah, me probably too.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool when we get to make changes like this every week or every couple weeks. And, by the end of the month, if we do another roundtable at the end of February, our rosters are probably going to be 50% different from what it was a couple weeks ago. So D-Block, anyway, thank you so much for coming on today. It was fun. We had some good conversations.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think we agree on the cards that we're going to start playing. There were a couple differences. We looked at the PTCS and the success, and now we get to try these out again in those lower level tournaments. So thank you for joining me. And next Tuesday.
Me. And it was real fun. I thought, and thanks for the chat. You had some really nice suggestions there too. So that was really nice. And,
yes, chat, you were wonderful. And Spore, are we having a Tuesday treasure trove next week? Just so I know to book D-Block for next Tuesday after the treasure trove. Do you think there's going to be one in plans? Are you able to say that? Yes, we are. Okay. More treasure trove cards. Okay, D-Block, we'll catch you later, and good luck in the 5L today.
See ya.
Ooh, all right, gang, we are off to Dr. Dynastic, so stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Taking you right there for more drops, more exciting OOTP action. Big shout out again to OOTP for the pop-up tournaments. They're very close to all being full. Well, 2 of the 3 are full for sure. And again, thanks, Spore, for some wonderful cards Saturday and today. Keep them coming. Keep them coming as long as you can for OOTP 24. Have a wonderful day. Back tomorrow with Lap versus Chat and the base game. Plus, we'll bring back the bounty. We'll see you next episode.
Every now and then it's gotta rain. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can shine every day. We're here for a good time, not a long time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can shine every day. So have a good time. The sun can shine every day.